Alright, welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be mounting the shifter cable on the outboard. I want to see if the way I want to do it is going to be workable. It's a certain way that I want to do it to where the motor will still tilt forward. It'll be sort of out of the way, so the way I want to do it is kind of horizontal to where the motor is sitting, and it kind of actuates off of an L piece. This is the way I envisioned it, so we'll see if it works out. So let's get into it and see if we can't make it work. Alright, so here's the outboard. The way I envisioned it, kind of pushes one end and pulls the other end inward to create a motion of shifting. So let's see if I can rig something up and mount it and have it the way I want. Alright. Now the trick is to not block fuel line. Alright, so the problem I'm having is figuring out something to push in this direction and push in that direction. So I have some more of the steel that I used for home renovation. I'm going to see if I can cut it up in a fashion to where I can use it and create a joining piece to sort of make a turning motion in one direction and turn the other direction. So we'll see if I can set something up. I don't know what length I'll need, so I'll try a test piece first, see if I can manage to make this work. So this is the idea that I'm going for. This is what I kind of came up with. Sort of like an L bracket like this. I'm gonna have to mount it out here, so sort of as this piece pushes out the bracket, it pushes inward on the shifter portion of the outboard. It's gonna need some tweaking, quite a bit of tweaking to make it work. This is sort of rough to the final product, so it's gonna look messy and ugly at first, but eventually it will get cleaned up and fine-tuned. So let's see if we can get something worked out today and at least shifting today. So let's continue at it. All right, so far, this is what I got. It's ugly at the moment, but at least it'll work. So when I go through the motion of shifting to neutral, boom, neutral's in. Obviously when I go in reverse, it hits the cable, but this bracket here will get trimmed down to allow it to pass right underneath the bar. So far, extremely happy how it turned out. I just gotta figure out how to get this rod to connect to this portion here. So let's figure out how we can get that to work. All right, so it's been a couple days. I think I figured out how to replace this shaft. This was the shifter shaft that goes through the motor to the angled piece that actually makes the shift down there on the lower end unit. I think I figured out how I can create a shaft using some aluminum stock and another throttle piece that I used on the shifter. Same thing that I used up front on the shifter portion on the handle, and I think we can make it work. So let's get into it. Alright, these are the pieces that I'll need to create the shifter linkage from my angled piece that I made to the inside of the outboard to create the link that I need to actually make the shifts. So this is just some 4 foot 3/8 aluminum bar stock. I'm going to drill and tap the ends and create almost like a heim joint and attach it to one end of the shifter and to the other end on the outboard. So we'll see how it works out. What I'll be using is 1032 screws. That's the thread pattern, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these heads off and just create almost like a double, almost like a stud. So what I'll do is I'll screw one end in about halfway, then I'll use some stopping bolts just to lock them in. First I'm going to have to drill out the hole and then tap each side for my screws. The trick is getting it perfectly straight down and kind of centered. I wish I had a drill press, but I don't have a drill press, so I'm gonna have to eyeball it as best as I could. And for 1032 threads, it's required to use a number 21 bit. It's the perfect size for the thread. And look at that. That thread is nice and snug in there. We'll do the same thing to the other side, and that'll be that part. Yeah, this is pretty much what we got. Let's see if it fits. Alright, so it's a couple days later. It took me a while to figure it out, tweak it a little bit, but I changed the idea just a little bit. Instead of it being through the original portion of the outboard, I changed it to external. So originally it ran straight through here, but the direct connection from this point to the shifter inside, it didn't have enough leverage as it should have, as opposed to what was originally here. It was a larger handle, so the height of that handle actually gave it more leverage. So what I did is I did the same thing on the outside. Now this little portion here, this is the whole little shifter mechanism. It's hard to see, I don't have exactly the best lighting. What I did here is I actually created my own leverage system. It sort of has like a little shifter portion there, and I just created a bracket to create the shifting motion. It's a lot better, it actually works. And I ran into a couple problems doing it this way. I do have to increase the height of this because it now hits against this. So this is all just a sort of mock-up of how the function works and how everything's gonna lay. So this is not going to be the final product. It's going to be a lot cleaner, a lot smoother. So this is just a sort of mock-up. But I mean, as far as me shifting, I'm pulling on the handle now. You know, it shifts into gear, in reverse, neutral, and forward easily. When I first attempted to operate it, I actually ran into the problem which I knew I was going to run into. This was a little bit flimsy, that little thin piece of steel. So I got a quarter-inch aluminum plate coming in that I was going to use to customize this bracket as well, make this clean, solid piece. This is going to be a lot better. I'm going to smoothen out. I might recreate this bracket just to make it look a lot better. I mean, I might leave it, I might not. I haven't decided yet, but this is going to be the final product. This is going to get rounded out. I'm going to make it clean, make it look clean. I might end up painting all of the brackets black and just making it clean. But yeah, this should be the end of the shifter build. I will probably do later updates of, you know, the cleaner pieces, the 1/4 inch aluminum plates that I'm going to use for the L brackets and stuff like that, but I'll touch up quick on it. But this is a pretty solid shifter setup, so I think it'll shift pretty well while I'm out in the water, and it's reliable, so that's all I really care about. So thanks for tuning in. Comment, like, subscribe if you want to see any future projects. Tuning out. Thanks again, guys.